Sensory perception. David Hume, the Scottish philosopher, once said humans are nothing more than the sum of their experiences. Elders in Aboriginal societies are revered because of their experiences. Our experiences, our sense of reality, exist because of a sensory nervous system. Our senses enable us to be aware of our surroundings. Some people like to relax by depriving themselves of their senses, meditation, sensory deprivation tanks, etc. But after an extended period without our senses, we can suffer hallucinations, extreme anxiety, memory loss, and antisocial behavior. Sensory information refers to the detection of physical stimuli by the receptors. Sensory receptors are nerve endings attached to cells that can change a physical stimulus, like pressure against the skin, into an action potential. Sensation occurs when the neural impulses arrive at the cerebral cortex. The sensation and resulting perception depends on the area of the brain that has interpreted this information. Perception occurs when the brain processes the sensations and interprets their meaning. The brain filters out redundant and insignificant information to limit sensory overload. We no longer hear a ticking clock or feel the clothes on our skin because the brain becomes accustomed to the stimulus. Perhaps this indicates the environmental condition is not dangerous, but sensory adaptation can trick our senses. Take the boiling frog as an example. Place a frog in hot water and it will jump right out. Put it in water at room temperature and it will stay. Gradually add heat, and its sensory adaptation prevents it from noticing the lethal changes to its environment. The integration of significant stimuli can be a reason why perceptions might not represent reality. As proof of the human reliance on the sense of vision, 70% of our body's sensory receptors are in the eyes, and 80 to 90% of sensory information reaching the brain comes from what you see. This is a lot of sensory information to process. Clues to the way the brain does this processing may be found by the analysis of how people perceive optical illusions. How about this one? Are the horizontal lines wonky or parallel? This a picture of a musician or a girl's face? Is this arrangement of dice possible? Sensory receptors are neuron endings or modified neurons. Their job is to convert a physical stimulus into an electrochemical stimulus, which is sent to the brain along the sensory neurons by way of an action potential. Photoreceptors, rods and cones, absorb light energy, giving us our sense of vision. Rods and cones are part of the retina of the eye. Chemoreceptors, taste buds in the tongue and olfactory cells of the nose, are stimulated by chemicals in the food or particles in the air, giving us our sense of taste and sense of smell. The combination of these sensations permits the perception of flavor. Other chemoreceptors in the carotid arteries of the neck and aorta of the heart, for example, detect changes in blood pH, an interoceptive sense. Another interoceptive sense is the regulation of blood volume by osmoreceptors in the hypothalamus. Mechanoreceptors respond to applications of pressure, allowing the sense of touch. Hair cells of the inner ear vibrate, producing the sense of hearing. Arguably, there are more than 5 senses: vision, taste, smell, touch, and hearing, all exteroceptive senses. The sense of balance that detect changes in body and head position is managed by mechanoreceptors in another area of the inner ear, as well as stretch receptors in the muscles that indicate whether the body is moving with required effort. We call these proprioceptive senses. Thermoreceptors detect heat and cold. not like a thermometer that detects actual temperature.